Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the weekly watch list. I am your host, the Option Addict from www.tradingaddicts.com. Let's go ahead and dive in and get started. According to the old economic calendar, it's going to be a pretty light week in regards to economic announcements, so I don't expect a whole lot of volatility this week. And in terms of overall market analysis, I like what I'm seeing shape up here on the old S&P 500. You can apply this to pretty much any index that you're looking at right here, but we've got a little bit of a case for the old inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is commonly known as a little bullish reversal pattern. I'm not necessarily saying I'm overly bullish on the market here, but I think that taking a few trades with a little price setup like this is relatively easy to manage. We bounced off 900 right here as a quick short-term reversal. Looking at futures prices right now, they're up, which means we lead into a higher open. And I think what everybody's calling for, the fact that prices drift higher into year end, I think there's a little bit of a warrant behind that. I could see that happening. So, and I look out there across the sea of stocks right now, and there's a whole lot of good-looking bullish setups. In fact, that's what I'm here to show you. So since I've got a lot to get through, let me go ahead and throw out a few dips, rips, breakouts, and breakdowns. Heads up! Now let's take a look at some price patterns. I'm going to start with the old agriculture industry. And you'll notice pretty much the same setup that's going on here as you'll see in the S&P 500 in the broader market. And that is the case for a little bit of a buy the dip move right through here off of what could be the final shoulder in an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I like the look of old CF. Also like the looks here of AGU. We can look at Mosaic, ticker symbol MOS. And I also like Intrepid, ticker symbol IPI. And for the very same reason, all these patterns look pretty legitimate thus far. We could be putting in the last shoulder here before we head towards the neckline. So if you want to get anticipatory here, look for a stock that hasn't moved a whole lot. Look for a point that's easy to manage, similar to what we see here in old IPI. Next to a constructive support line, if prices break below, you hop out. But if you anticipate moves here and this ends up playing out, then you have a damn good looking entry point here. Let's get through quite a few more. Let's look at long-term rates here via the TLT, and what looks like I'm seeing here is we're getting ever so close to confirming a triple top. And many of you remember that we faded part of this move right through here via the old inverse ETF, the TBT. So I like the way things are setting up here. It looks like we're might be starting to roll over towards this neckline, so keep an eye on this. But I think sooner than later we're going to see that support level give out, and we're going to see a pretty meaningful move here in longer-term rates. Next, let's look at THOR. And I saw this, I looked at it, I thought, man, that's a mighty steep-looking triangle here. But, let's break this thing down into, let's say, a 30-day chart or so, and you'll see it pretty clearly here. We've got a monster triangle that's setting up, and we're getting pretty darn close to that apex. So watch for a breakout here because I could see prices moving substantially. Next, let's look at a few more triangles. We've got a monster going on here over at AMR. I still like the look of the airlines here, so AMR, kind of right in the middle here. I don't think there's an action point yet, but as we get a little bit closer to support, maybe you anticipate a move here, or you trade the breakout if that comes first. Next, let's look at BRP. And Brazil's looking pretty constructive, I'll have to admit. In fact, I've got my eye on the old EWZ in regards to looking at some emerging markets out there. I got to keep an eye on China too. They've got a big stimulus that was passed here recently. But Brazil, I like the move here. We're kind of right in the middle of this triangle as well. If prices are favorable heading into this week, then we'll probably see a breakout. So look for a pretty good move here in the old BRP. Next, just to add to the old inverse head and shoulder formations, you've got it going on here on the EEM, which I think is a pretty decent move, relatively strong entry point. You can also look at OSG. You're seeing kind of a similar move here. I like to see these shippers start to take off. They make a whole lot of other things move. And John Deere. I mean, this pattern is pretty much anywhere that you look right now, but here's a couple of stocks that, I like the way they look, and I like the idea of getting into some trades here. So I like the setup here in Deere, especially right around 35. Let's move into Apple next, AAPL. It looks like we've got a triangle setting up here, and I like this entry point right down here around 97.98. So if you're anticipating a move higher in stocks, especially into the holidays, then I doubt you'll see Apple too much cheaper than this heading into the year end. So Apple at 98 looks pretty good. Let's look at some bottoms. INFY. I like this setup here, the old 1-2 triple bottom. Got a really big move here on Friday, so price is reacting pretty strongly to support. I like the idea that it's pretty easy to manage. Set a stop down here near these lows. And even if you only got to move up here to these highs, that's still a pretty decent risk reward in my opinion. Same pattern setting up here in CLF. You've got the old 1-2-3 bottom. Price is sitting right down here at support. Now keep an eye on crude this week, and we were trading dangerously close to 60. We even dipped our toes slightly below that, but crude oil at the moment is up about $2.50. So I'm hoping we see a little bit of continuation there. If we see higher crude, then we're going to see higher stock prices. So CLF I think is going to be one of the better trades out there because we are at a very, very manageable point. So in regards to risk reward, there won't be too many finer than this out there in the materials sector. But we'll get pretty close with old Forest Oil, FST. You can see we're pretty darn close. Maybe even an inverse head and shoulder with the higher low right through here. GDP not looking too bad. We've got more of a triangle setting up here. In fact, looks like a little bit of a breakout here, so keep an eye on that. Let's also look at HAL, ticker symbol HAL. And looks like this triangle has a little bit more of a descent to it, but nonetheless, it's a triangle. We had a pretty favorable move here on Friday, so I'd watch for a breakout here on Monday. Next is ticker symbol ABV, and this is one of the patterns I've been watching develop that we saw a nice confirmation here on Friday. We've got the breakout, so if you got any kind of a pullback here out the gates on Monday, let's say down in the ballpark of about 45, maybe 46 or so, we've ABV's signaled a reversal here, so all you got to do is look for a buy the dip opportunity. So watch this lower trend line. If prices pull back anywhere near that level, I think you got to scoop up and grab some. 12% move on Friday, and that's pretty good. Really good, strong volume behind it. So again, watch for a dip opportunity, but this is confirmed a reversal. Looks hot. Couple others, FMC. To me, this looks like a little bit of a flag right through here, and also looks like a retest off of these prior lows. So no matter how you skin this pig, it's pretty manageable right here at about 43, 44. So I like the setup here. Also in education, you notice these education stocks are looking pretty darn good. Apollo being one of my favorites, but DeVry not too bad here either, with a nice confirmation of a bull flag. Couple others. FSYS, Fuel System Solutions. I've been watching this bad boy as kind of a monster head and shoulders pattern. You can see got a shoulder off through here, a head off through here, a shoulder right here, but I don't know. To me, it looks like what we might be confirming here is a double bottom and a breakout here on Friday. So I doubt we're going to see any kind of a meaningful pullback down here to around 37 or so, which is where I love it. But even if you bought this heading into tomorrow, I mean, huge move, 45%. I think this thing's going to get pretty strong from here, especially if the old energy patch starts to perform well. So that's not looking too bad. I'm going to chase that with a little bit of Southern, ticker symbol SO, and I want you to watch for a breakout of this triangle this week. It's going to be a hot one. Well, that'll conclude my list this week, folks. A lot of actionable ideas out there. I think it's going to be a pretty mellow week. In fact, I'm not expecting a whole lot of turbulence from here into the year end. So take advantage of it. Start to dip your toe back into the market. Get some positions established and get ready to take advantage of the market. In the meantime, this has been The Option Addict. That's been my watch list. Thanks for watching.